The end of the universe didn't arrive with violence, it arrived with beauty. As gravity failed, oceans detached and poured upward into the star-filled daylight. This is the world of Cassian Vale. He's a historian living centuries after the collapse, navigating these drifting continents to find the cold, objective facts of how humanity survived the Weightless Age. His primary target is the myth of Mother Ash. While her followers speak of her with reverence, historical records describe a dangerous fanatic, a woman who accepted extinction and focused her cult on emotional rituals instead of survival. Cassian carries a clinical set of rules. Myths contaminate records, and emotion destroys the precision required to preserve a civilization. He believes exposing Mother Ash as a fraud is the only way to recover the true history of the collapse. To find what pure, objective history looks like, Cassian visits the Library Kingdom. This civilization preserves its past in iron-bound ledgers, chained to stone shelves to keep them from drifting into the void. The scholars here strictly outlaw fiction, poetry, and expressions of personal grief. When gravity failed, false hope drove entire populations to madness. To guarantee their physical survival, the founders of the library chose to amputate human emotion. Cassian's own methodology mirrors this rigid dedication to data. He expects Mother Ash's headquarters to hold a similar vault of hard, fanatical doctrines, the blueprints of how she controlled her people. But the library's records have a significant gap. They have perfectly preserved every coordinate and casualty count of the apocalypse, yet their ledgers contain no mention of the people who lived through it. They kept the dates of the end, while weasened the reason the world mattered. When Cassian finally enters Mother Ash's sanctuary, the house that waits, he finds no throne room and no records of miracles. He finds a massive hall where the walls are covered in thousands of handprints and carved names. The only artifacts remaining are leather-bound journals. Every single one follows a specific rule. The first and final pages are forbidden from bearing ink, left intentionally empty. The journals contain no grand prophecies. Instead, they are filled with undelivered letters, family recipes, and ordinary jokes. Her followers were forbidden from writing their own stories. They were only allowed to record the lives of others. Every item in the sanctuary points outward. Even in the heart of her own community, Mother Ash remains entirely absent, leaving no personal monuments or records of her own deeds. Monolithic cults of personality eventually fade. Mother Ash built something decentralized, a system where ordinary humanity remains because individual lives are systematically woven into the memories of others. This legacy continues in the floating cities, where citizens still ring massive bronze bells. They have forgotten the festival the bells were built for, but they continue to pull the ropes day and night. The yokes of these bells are carved with thousands of names. They function as a substitute for a voice, tolling so that the dead aren't surrounded by the silence of the void. This is the practical application of her 4 responsibilities. Learn a name, learn what they love, stay if they are afraid, tell their story after they are gone. These instructions prioritize the individual over the collective survival of a state. By the time the Earth fractured, her followers operated as a decentralized network of record keepers, prioritizing human presence over physical preservation. Mother Ash did not build defenses against the apocalypse. She provided her followers with a framework to act as caretakers for the people the world was preparing to forget. Cassian's companion, Archivist 9, was built for perfect memory. But as the universe unravels, the android's architecture fails, its hard light halo flickering into digital static. The machine has lost all coordinates and population metrics. Despite the hardware failure, it desperately clings to a single, unquantifiable file, the memory that someone, somewhere, was loved. As the AI reaches total failure, Cassian abandons the military records and structural calculations. He reads the names and recipes from the journals, and the machine briefly stabilizes before going dark. Perfect data disappears when the hardware fails. The resonance of being remembered is what survives the collapse of the systems that stored it. On the final day of the Great Separation, Mother Ash found a stone bridge twisting under severe gravitational shear. Rather than retreating, she chose to save the trapped strangers, striking the supports until the massive iron chain snapped. The violent recoil threw her into the endless void. As she fell upward, her wooden necklace broke, scattering thousands of hand-carved names across the sky like new constellations. Back in the present, Cassian sits in her empty hall. He reaches into his satchel and tears the coordinate maps and structural data out of his historical notebooks. He begins packing his satchel with the blank journals. His new mission is to scatter them across the floating islands, leaving them in ruins and on benches for ordinary people to find, read, and add to. Mother Ash's legacy proved that when the world forgets its own weight, the final, meaningful task is to ensure that no ending arrives alone.